3, 2, 1.
Hello guys, welcome back to our final episode of This Is Me, a series that we've been doing for you guys, just sharing our stories over this time. But yeah, we're very excited to get back to business whenever we actually can. I was born a Christian, for those who don't know me. Raised in a Christian home, raised in a church, raised with BB and things like that around me. So I was really privileged growing up like that. I gave my life to God whenever I was very, very young. So I don't really have that story maybe of, going through something really hard and then finding God in the middle of it. But I do also think that my testimony holds weight, because God has pulled me through a lot of very hard things in my life. As I've previously mentioned in other videos, I've struggled with anxiety and depression, with identity issues, with a whole lot of things a lot of baggage I suppose that I have. But Jesus has really guided me through that and walked me through that. But there's one thing this morning that I want to chat about, and it's my doubts. I am confident that whenever I was 15 and 16, looking back now, that there was a period of my life where I did not believe in God. I went to church and I was raised a certain way, being told that Jesus is the Son of God, being told He is able to save you from your sin. But it's all well and good being told these things, but believing them is definitely something else. I hit a point in my life where I really had to judge whether I actually believed these things or if it was something that I had just always been taught. And I felt like I had so many questions and no answers at all. I'd sit at the back of my youth, listening to our youth leader, desperately wanting his words to be true in my life. But every single thing that he spoke, my brain counteracted with something that couldn't be true because of this. And it really led me to a very, very deep point where I was starting to care more about what my friends were doing than what God was doing. I didn't believe in really Jesus, so it was a case in school whenever my friends were doing something, it was something that I desired them. So I was trying to fulfill this hole in me with something that wasn't God. In John chapter 4, Jesus is speaking to a woman who is down by the well. Her entire life she has lived not how she should have. She has lived a sinful life. She has tried to fulfill her life with pleasures, but it has left her feeling ashamed and empty. And he says this in John chapter 4, verses 13 to 17. Everyone who drinks of this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks of the water that I give him will never be thirsty again. And this is what Jesus is saying. He's saying, you can keep coming to this well. And every time that you come, you're going to drink from this water and you're going to be satisfied for a brief moment in time, and then you're going to be thirsty again. And it's the exact same for us today. It was the exact same for me whenever I was 15. I was trying to fill this hole in my life that should have been with a relationship with God, with pleasures around me. And it was always leaving me thirsty for more. So this morning, I don't know what you're trying to fill your life with. Could it be drinking, drugs, or partying? Trying to fill your life, trying to fill this gap in your life with something that isn't Jesus. You're never going to find that fulfillment if it isn't in Jesus. He is saying here, I am the water. I am this water of life that you can come and you can drink and you will never be thirsty again. And for me, with my doubts, it was a case of this. I hadn't experienced God for myself. So how was I expecting to have faith? It wasn't until I pursued Him. I thought, okay, do you know what? I'm gonna stop with just relying on what people have told me, and I'm gonna pursue Him for myself. I'm gonna find out what I believe for myself. And it took independent stuff. It took me looking at some of these things and looking at some of my questions and thinking, okay, what actually is the answer to this? Coming to people who maybe knew a wee bit more than me and thinking, okay, so what do you think about this? I refound my relationship with God because I pursued Him myself. Through prayer, through study, through reading my Bible, but also through chatting to Christians who maybe done it for a wee bit longer. And this is my urge for you this morning. Two things, yeah. First and foremost, if you have questions this morning, we are here to help. Just because we can't meet you in a building, just because we can't see you at youth, doesn't mean that we aren't here to answer your questions. We are always happy to answer your questions and listen to your struggles. And if you are listening to this and you are feeling that sense of unfulfillment, you don't know what your purpose is, you feel like you keep going to these things and you keep being left feeling empty, then I have such good news for you this morning. Jesus is asking you to come to him. He will give you a purpose. He will give you that fulfillment. He is so madly in love with you that he's chasing you down. I'm a big believer that there is a reason that you're watching this video today. He desires you more than anything. And he wants you to give your life to him.